We're going to take on Russia at the high levels. We're going to smack them. And they were like,
Приятно тебя видеть.
They're explorers, won't die, and they do bonus damage.
Welcome to the Kindred Spirit Podcast, a show all about the board game Spirit Island. Here we'll talk about analytics and strategies within the game, as well as a plethora of other topics that can be found within it.
today we close out the Community Aspect series with the aspects for Vital Strength of the Earth.
Strength of the Earth.
Here we go.
Don't say all right.
Here we go! Here we are with the last character for the Aspect series for the low complexity people. This is Vital Strength of the Earth's Aspects.
One of your favorite spirits.
Yeah, one of my original... Yeah, this would probably be one of my top 5 characters just as far as fun. I do really like Vital Strength of the Earth. A lot of people kind of don't really like this character anymore because they've moved on. They think that it's kind of bland. They have their reasons for why they think this, and once I've heard their explanations, I can understand it, but I still have a soft place in my heart for Earth. There's a sympathy I have with that character there, and I do love being able to get that 3 defense everywhere. That is such a wonderful pillar to structure so many other strategies around. And it's so helpful for you, it's helpful for friends, because it's happening all the time. It's one of the few things in this game where it is happening every single turn. It's not a card, it's not an innate, it's none of that. It's just always happening, and that's really fun, that's really nice. So I do really love Vital Strength of the Earth. I like the fun of doing major powers, and I really feel as if Vital Strength of the Earth gets not a bad rap, but I feel as if some people move on to other people before they found all the secrets this character can deliver. You know what I mean?
More exciting spirits, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
This one's just steady.
Yep.
Just there.
But nothing wrong with Earth.
When you look at the aspect cards, River got 2, Earth got 2. This probably means these characters didn't need as much help as Shadows, for instance, who got 4, or Lightning, who got 3. You know, like, we're dealing with someone who's pretty good already. And we even mentioned that in River's episode, where it's like, these characters got 2. This means that while we now have 2 more ways to play them, they weren't really all that bad to begin with. So, Vital Strength of the Earth has 2 aspects, Resilience and Might.
So resilience is one of those interesting ones that doesn't up the complexity, also doesn't lower the complexity, just kind of makes it stay the same.
Equal.
This one replaces the special rule, Earth's Vitality. It's anchor the land's resilience. So instead of defend 3 in every land where you have a sacred site, instead, in lands with your sacred site, it takes 8 additional damage to add blight to the land. So usually 10 damage will add blight. This does not protect Dahan at all. Damage to them is unaffected.
This one is weird.
Like 10 damage for 1 blight.
Right, the land now has 10 health.
Whoa.
This is
but
really
you can easily
weird.
Kill the Dahan, so it doesn't defend for them at all.
The
but
thing
you still have a
is,
defend card.
Right, you still have Guard the Healing Land, but your protection of Dahan goes whoop, right out the window. So it's really weird because the bad guys can just straight up attack you in lands where you have a sacred site. And bad guys can build up in decent number before they hit you. Because if it's 9 damage, it needs to be 10 damage.
True.
In order for it to actually be bad. Then if you use Guard the Healing Land, that protects it by another 4. Which at that point means that it needs to be 14. This one's weird because it makes you less of a guardian. But I think what this might open up is an avenue for good majors.
Okay.
Because now you don't need to worry about Blight coming in. You don't have to worry about defense as much because Blight's not going to be happening. And if you're going with majors, then you're not going to be using Dahan anyway. So if Dahan die,
that's okay.
Forget Rituals of Destruction to gain a new major. Like a really crazy high damage major. You'll have the energy to afford it. I think Resilience, in my opinion, as I would use it, would probably be a non-Dahan using major power spirit.
Which is an easy thing to tap into where you can get 8
Because
energy.
if you're not going to be using Dahan, you're not going to be using Rituals of Destruction. Bye. Forget that one with a new power card that's all about majors. This Resilience aspect doesn't protect Dahan either, so you're not really going to need to worry worry about defense as much because so long as it's your sacred site, you have a lot more health there, which is really weird. Your defense goes down, but your health goes up, which is really weird. Like, before you had good defense, you had a shield, and you had normal health. Now your health is crazy, but you're just wide open.
You don't have your sword of Dahan.
Right.
Sword and shield.
Nor do you have your shield. You're just a big fat glutton that's just like,
Doesn't affect me.
Right.
I can see...
Reminds me of Stone in a way.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? In the don't care aspect of things. With Stone, it's like, Blight's entering.
Oh, well.
Whatever. The innates that Stone has makes them be like, whatever, I don't really care.
That'd be an interesting rock team.
Right. And Resilience does the same. There's 2 cities there and a town. Wow, that's like 8 damage.
We should theme a rock and roll team.
Ooh.
There you go.
Well, Shifting Memory is also a major power user.
Oh, that's true.
Yep.
And a rock, kind of.
Yeah, the rock team would be Serpent, Volcano, Shifting Memory, Stone, and Earth.
That'd be a fun team.
Yeah.
I think Resilience could be fun with just letting Sharp Fangs go rampant. Because guess what? No Blights on the board. And that's the one thing holding Sharp Fangs back.
Oh.
Right.
Sharp Fangs has free reign. Was Raging Hunt? Is that the...
Ranging? Is it raging or ranging?
Ranging Hunt.
Ranging
Hunt.
But no, it's true. Keeper and Sharp Fangs would love this.
Keeper. That'd be a good team of just like, there's no Blight on the board.
Right. They would love this character because it's like a traffic cop. Just, keep going. Keep going. This is a blight-free zone. You know, you can run all over here.
You can grow here. You can run here. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
So I can say working with spirits. And then obviously you never want Blight on the board. So I guess it just prolongs the game, which is what Earth is good at doing.
Yeah. Then we have Might.
Yes.
Which is so drastically different from Resilience. I'm not sure if it could be more different. Resilience does one thing. That's about it. No, that is it. That's it. And it keeps the complexity the same. Might is like, okay. And here's everything else.
Another innate.
So Might is the aspect that gives you the new innate power that's called Earth Moves with Vigor and Might. And this replaces your original special rule of Earth's Vitality, so you no longer have the Sacred Sites give you 3 defense, so you're losing that, which is arguably one of, if not Earth's best thing right there. But that's okay. This innate has 4 levels. And at level 1, with just a single plant, which is quite easy for them, seeing how 3 of their cards have plant on it. And you have an innate that can be triggered with 1 plant. It's like... Well, this is happening every single turn. Anyway, level 1. You may play an additional power card by paying 1 more energy plus its cost. Its elements apply for the rest of this innate power's thresholds. Right off the bat, if this card did nothing else, this might be completely worth it. It gets Earth more card play. Oh my goodness, I feel as if everyone's complaint with Earth has been the whole card play thing. Because Earth can't double spike presence with a convenient action that does so, and so you can't quickly gain presence, although the good thing with presence this character can do is that you get presence with everything.
So it evens out over time.
I like that. It's like slow and steady.
Right, but you still can't spike it. Like, do a quick land grab, so to speak. But the thing is, though, it usually takes you a turn or 2 to get to 2 card plays, maybe even 3, depending on where you grew.
Yeah.
But here, though...
Turn 1. You can play 2 cards.
This takes advantage of Earth's phenomenal energy gain and allows them to get better card plays for it. You may play an additional power card by paying 1 more energy plus the cost. That is really nice, even if you do have to spend more. So if something costs...
Make sure you have enough energy.
Make sure you have enough energy. But if you have a card that's cost 3, now it costs 4. If it costs 1, now it costs 2. It's not really hard to understand. But with this character's phenomenal energy gain, you're going to be able to do it quite fine. Then level 2, 1 Sun, 2 Earth, which is also really easy, seeing how literally every single one of your cards gives you Earth, and 2 of them give you Sun. It says you do plus 1 damage with each damage dealing power you use this turn.
Huge.
This is huge. Then level 3 does the same thing. It stacks. Level 3 will trigger off of 2 plant, 3 earth, and then at level 4, for the cost of 1 sun and 3 plant, you gain a power card.
And it can be any power card, not
which
just
is
a
actually
minor.
really nice.
Yeah.
And I'm going to explain why I really like this in a little bit here. But it's really cool because it's not just gain a major, gain a minor, it could be anything. What's really important to know, though, is that all of Might's levels, all 4 of them, can be attained by your starting hand.
That's huge.
Wow.
Now, I know
River can do that.
Correct. River can do that, but I know for Earth, it's like, well, this character isn't really a card play spirit, so it's not going to be as easy to do, but Might allows you to get a little bit more card play out there, so it'll be definitely done faster than it could have been done before. So the thing that is so insane is you're getting another card play. If it was just that, it'd be cool. You're getting plus 2 damage on all of your stuff. All of it!
Oh!
Which is insane. It says, with each damage dealing power you do, and then you gain a power card. So you can take a card that's really lame, like does 1 damage, now it takes out a city.
Yeah.
A card that does 2 damage, now it's doing 4, so that's 2 towns. You can quickly see how getting plus 2 damage? Flame's Fury is a card for Wildfire that can get you just a little bit more damage, and even just 1 damage increase really helps.
Yeah.
Here, though, you just get plus 1 damage with each damage dealing power you do this turn. Twice! Man, that is really good.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. So this card is insane. Resilience just meant that a land's health increases by a bunch. Here, with Might, you are getting easy card play increase, easy damage increases, and a new power card as well. And the reason why that's really cool is because this means that you don't have to do your middle growth option 2, which adds a presence and gain a power card, but it's range 0.
Which is my least favorite.
Which means you don't have to do that one.
I know.
You can go and do a reclaim loop, or you can go and do your energy spiking action a lot and still gain power cards with it. Obviously, you're probably going to be getting level 4 of Might a little bit later, but that's okay, because you can be going and still add a presence every single turn. Once you get to 2 card play on your actual card play track, in effect, you get to 3 at that point. And when you get to 3, you can get 3 cards and play 3 cards, have 3 plant, boom. Now you have it.
I think with Earth, you had to plan so far ahead where, okay, when I need a power card, I want to make sure I'm building my sacred site with my range 0. But now you can have a little more flexibility because you can gain a power card. Now I have to worry about the range 0 added presence. That's what I like about it.
So this aspect card is amazing, and we're going to get into some of the crazy things that we were able to do with it. But for now, let's go ahead and look at what all of you had to say. What did Reddit think about which one of these 2 was the best?
Reddit had 31 total votes. Laura, how did it all shake up?
Well, surprise, surprise, Resilience won easy.
What?
Nani?
Lies and deceit. It got 23% of the vote.
Oh, yeah, no.
Might walked away with a handy victory of 77% of the vote. It was 24 votes.
Gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Y'all like Might.
Yeah, it's an easy win.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's an easy win. On Board Game Geek, exact same thing. Resilience got 18% of the vote. Might got 81% of the vote. So it's just complete dominance.
Complete dominance.
Might just completely smacked it out of the water. And this was, honestly, this is the biggest margin of success of all of them.
Yep,
all the other ones are like, 20% margin, 30% margin. On BGG here, this is like a 60% margin.
Yeah.
70% margin. Like, yikes. And
I can see it, though.
Well, look at Resilience. It's so simple. And what it really does is I feel as if it's kind of giving you 1, maybe 2 ways to play Earth. Might, it's giving you something that Earth has needed for a long time. Because Gift of Strength is an incredible innate power.
But it was hard to unlock.
Yet, it was still okay to some people's minds because, depending on what card you're repeating, it could be worth it. That weight could be worth it because if you're repeating a certain card that does something really cool, hey, doing it twice is really nice. Now you can get this new Might ability and your original innate because this one doesn't replace your original innate. It replaces your original special rule, which means you have 2 innates.
But
Earth
you love
has
that
2
special
innates.
rule. You love the Defend 3.
What's interesting about Might and how it changes Earth is that base Earth was both a defender and a healer. Might Earth takes away the defender. You're not as good as a defender. You can still do it with Guard the Healing Land, but you're not as good at defense, but you're still just as good as healing. So, in my opinion, the way I like to play this character with this aspect is to go pretty much offense because you have now a damage buff on all your powers. So now you are no longer a defender as much as you are a healer attacker. So you can be a counterattacking defender. I consider Stone and Keeper are what I consider the 2 counterattacking defenders. defenders. Serpent can be, and I think that Earth, specifically Might Earth, would be the third, a counterattacking defender, because Guard the Healing Land is still one of the best defend cards in the game, and is still one of the best blight removal cards in the game, because it's just any land, no strings attached, any land, and it's fast, so you can be like, bink, and you can quickly get that blight out of there, but it's also doing defense. So what's interesting is that you can go and not have as much defense out there, but even if bad guys are still coming in and smacking you all the time, you can still just do a reclaim loop, get that card back, and
that's nice.
Keep getting that blight vacuum out there by sucking up all the blight. And sure, blight's coming in a lot more, perhaps, since you don't have the defend 3 sacred sites, but you can still defend a lot with Guard the Healing Land, and you can immediately heal.
Because a reclaim loop doesn't really have a penalty, because if you are able
Earth
to
has a very doable reclaim loop.
You're still growing, obviously, because you're adding a presence two-way, and like you said, Ryan, if you can gain a power card from Might, then there's no penalty to reclaim.
There's no penalty. Right, you can just do an energy spike or a reclaim loop and get your cards back. Which is insane. I want to get into this a little bit more and tell you what I was able to use this card for, but let's go ahead and look at what you all had to say before we get into our own personal comments.
Well, Reddit had an interesting comment from the Tommy Man. He says, in my opinion, neither improve the spirit. The spirit is strongest generally with Earth's vitality. Earth's vitality to me is worth 1 energy in any land that it defends where Dahan aren't present. But if Dahan are present and kill a town and explorer at least, then it's worth 2. The aspects are situationally strong and interesting. Resilience is interesting when you're playing with Fangs against Sweden or against France, and the other spirits don't need Dahan. Since the only thing Resilience is doing is stopping a blight, at base it's worth 1 energy, but it has no further upside. We touched on that.
Yeah, we were speaking
I'd agree with that, seriously, and that's one of the things that we said too. Fangs would like it.
Yeah, any spirit that's like, sure, kill the Dahan, see if we care. Might actually gives you a reason to follow your elements, which means it's going to be higher variance than vitality, which that just higher variance might explain why it's so popular.
Yeah.
It's stronger if you've got synergistic power cards, but essentially useless if you use other cards. I generally think of the biggest strength that Vital has is the energy to afford trading your entire overcosted starting hand with just whatever the best major powers you find are.
I don't want to disagree or anything, but just as a fact, if you are playing cards that don't have the elements of your innate, then any innate's useless.
Pretty much.
It's true.
That's one of the reasons why I like high card play characters, because these characters will have the capacity to get a lot of cards in the minor power deck. Make sure you find the ones that have elements you use and get consistent innates.
I'm always looking for elements.
That is the base emotion that fuels my love for high card play characters, is consistent innates.
I found that I tend to get used to a couple of different high power cards, and then I'll get them at the cost of any other power cards when they show up, even if they're not the best one for my spirit.
So you just get comfortable with major powers
or
something?
I'm like, oh, I know what this one does. Oh, this one's always good.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't fit my energy track, so I've been working on trying different cards that I normally wouldn't play if I'm playing a spirit I normally wouldn't play.
Let's finish the quote from Tommy Man.
Sure. Yeah. Another problem is that Earth, Sun, and plant elements as a trio aren't that well supported, and your play's track takes a tick to get going. What major power synergies do you have? Trees and stones speak of war, and Twisted Flowers murmur ultimatums. Both are good situationally, but Trees and Stones really wants to couple with vitality. Twisted Flowers only benefits from might if you hit the elements. Walls of Rock is great, and perhaps is the card that gives this aspect legs. But against higher level adversaries, you probably don't want to be praying to hit this. I think, though, that the aspects being slightly worse is good. I think the aspects giving us different ways to play old spirits without replacing them is great for keeping the game fresh. Amen.
Yeah.
Tommy Man.
Good point.
I think a lot of people were hoping that the aspects were patches to buff spirits that they liked the lore of. I don't think the spirits should be the same power level. They don't really need fixing.
Interesting points.
Especially on one that I would agree, I don't think Earth needs fixing in the same way that I might have thought Shadows
look at these
did.
ones as fixing as much as giving different choices.
Right.
Shadows was the only one that needed actual fixing. I think that all the other low complexity characters are just different choices now.
It just gives you different options.
Right.
I think the higher variance is just more fun sometimes.
Right. It's true.
Laura read the long one. I'll do the short one. How do you say that, Laura? Descupad 0.
Wow, that's a fun name.
Desoccupad?
Disoccupado.
Disoccupado.
Oh.
Might is stronger, but resilience feels more fitting for its kit.
And that's all I had to say about that.
I think that pretty much summed it up.
Resilience is the most similar to the base.
Just gives you a
Earth,
slightly different variance on the way.
Right, it's just a little
gonna
bit
be played
different,
anyway.
but it feels similar.
And might is stronger. Makes it different.
Yeah, so I think that one comment from Tommy Man kind of summed up what
Yeah.
some of the people were thinking.
I'd agree.
And then Des Occupado said it in one sentence.
There you go. What did BGG have to say?
Red Revenge comes in once again, and they say, in their opinion, normal is still probably the strongest, and might and resilience, they're kind of hard to say which one's better. This one is much harder to judge. I've played a few games with might, and I was happy with the results, but recently I started playing normal Earth, and I've been doing well also. I think the power level between both of these is very close or equal. I haven't tried resilience yet, but it doesn't seem good on paper. The do-nothing cards and stalling usually isn't an optimal strategy in Spirit Island, and since many of the invaders have win conditions that don't revolve around Blight, this makes me feel that resilience isn't that helpful, though this is speculation.
I think, Ryan, to what you were saying, people kind of forgot how good Earth was.
Yeah.
So they're replaying this Spirit now because of the aspects, and then they're going back to the original Spirit and like, oh wait, Earth was good.
Right, seriously,
Yeah.
and I feel as if I've been waving that flag for a while.
You have been. I can say that as fact. Ryan is always...
I'm like, come on! A long time ago, I said that low complexity characters do have a place in this game, even at high difficulty levels.
Yeah.
There are specific combos and things that can only be done by these characters, and they shouldn't be ignored. At the time, when I was saying this, you, as a new player, shouldn't feel lame or shouldn't feel weird about taking a low complexity character that you liked from the beginning and staying with them all the way to higher difficulties.
I still
You shouldn't
love
be
River.
You do.
Right, you shouldn't be ashamed about the idea of taking a character from low difficulty games that you started the game with when you first played this game, like one of the low complexity people, and sticking with them for higher complexity games, you know?
It's interesting that Tommy Man and Red Revenge both having similar realizations of like, base Earth is good.
It is, seriously. And this makes me happy.
Yeah,
frankly.
it should.
I do think that might can probably do just a little bit more than base. I do think that base is safer and more consistent, but I think that might has a higher ceiling, but is maybe a little bit more risky. So depending on what you want from your Earth games, I guess you know yourself, you can probably be able to figure out which one you want to do.
It's amazing to just defend 3. It seems small, but it's really like so crucial or clutch for this.
Stops 4 damage.
Yeah, that's a
And that still protects your Dahan, so they fight back.
Yeah.
It does. Here's a fun little tip for all of you out there, one of which all the veterans already know, but with defense, you only ever need to stop 1 less than what's coming in. You can let 1 go through. So if you have a defend 5 card, that means you can stop an incoming attack of 6 damage.
It took me a moment actually to learn that as a new player.
Yep. So if you have 7 damage coming in and you have a defend 6 card, it's covered.
Yeah.
But wait, defend 6 doesn't stop 100% of the incoming damage. There's 7 coming in. Yeah, that's fine.
That's the rules. We didn't come up with them.
Not a crazy huge thing that changes gameplay, but a lot of new people think if 5 damage is coming in, I must stop 5 of it, which is fine. If you defend 5 against an attack of 5 damage, you will, in fact, stop it. I'm just saying you don't need to have 1 for 1. You can have 1 less.
So that defend 3 is as strong as defend 4, is what you're saying.
Yep.
Yeah?
So long as there isn't another effect,
Sure.
you know, that happens, but just like for normal play. So let me talk about Might Earth. I have a lot I can say here because John and I had one heck of a game with Might Earth. John and I did a 2-player game, and it was a legendary game that we talked about 2 episodes ago with River. The reason why this was a legendary game, one of a kind, was for a bunch of reasons.
Literally one of a kind.
The number one reason is because I was playing with one of my best friends.
Aww.
The other reason is because...
Sentiments aside.
But really.
So we were playing with a new scenario that we had never done with Elemental Invocation, but we got a Terror Level 1 victory.
What?
Boom!
What?
Terror 1 victory.
Stop the episode, that's where we end.
We have been chasing this Terror Level 1 victory for literal years. I have never gotten one.
Neither have I.
Terror Level 2, sure. Terror Level 3, duh. Fear victories, yeah. I've done that a few times, some more than others. Terror Level 3 a lot more than others, but I have never, even with all that said, I've never gotten a Terror Level 1 victory. And I've always seen other people get it, and Terror Level 1 victories usually have some element of favorable chance, because those are pretty hard.
Extremely hard.
And to those that aren't aware, a Terror Level 1 victory is if you kill literally everything on the board.
invaders.
Was it called board
Every
wiping?
single bad guy. Every city, every town, every explorer. Which, late game, that doesn't sound like it would be too hard, and you're correct. When you have a character that's fully leveled up and fully at capacity with all of your cool upgrades, and maybe you've had an entire game to get the perfect build and the perfect cards, yeah, maybe you may be able to wipe the board. But you have to wipe the board before Terror Level 2 happens. So this means this is going to be in your early game to the beginning of your mid game, killing the entire board. Usually, when I've seen people do a battle report where they got a Terror Level 1 victory, it was some chance involved. The thing that helped us the most was the Elemental Invocation. But what we did is we were able to attain this Terror Level 1 victory with Vital Strength of the Earth, with the Might aspect, and River Surges and Sunlight
Travel aspect.
with travel.
Hashtag Taxi River.
Oh yeah, beep beep.
Beep beep.
So, in my opinion, those are the absolute best aspects for each of these characters who are already strong. So I am not surprised to hear that these were the characters that we attained a Terror Level 1 victory on. So many things, oh my goodness, so many things contributed to this. First off, Elemental Invocation. On the sly, it's a scenario that allows you to spend energy to spit out more element tokens on the physical board, on the lands. Then, whenever you cast a power in that land, you acquire the element that was spat there. And so this means that you as a player will be getting your elemental thresholds a lot easier than usual. Why? Because you are literally spitting out more elements that you can have access to every single turn, so long as you are consistently targeting lands that have those elements on it. So we were able to get all of our things earlier and more consistent. That, I think, was our biggest boon, because we didn't play with events, but we were using Beast Command. So oh my goodness. There is this, I don't really know where to start here, because there's so many things that this Might aspect added to Earth's gameplay that contributed, and it's so dope. So first off, I tried this new strategy with Earth that I heard of online, and I was curious if I could make it work. And I tried it, and I dare say it worked mighty fine. So this is Earth's Draw of the Fruitful Earth Reclaim Loop strategy. Where you play Draw of the Fruitful Earth every single turn. And you do Growth Option 1 every single turn. Now, this strategy will work on low difficulty and mid difficulty things. But I am told that it's not so great on high difficulty things.
Not many things are like great on high difficulty things.
But that's okay, because I've never tried this strategy in my life. I felt as if I could try it. Let's see what happens. So Draw the Fruitful Earth says gather up to 2 explorers and 2 Dahan. So that is 4 people that can move, 2 explorers, 2 Dahan. Cool. Then, if you have Gift of Strength, once this turn, target spirit may repeat a power card with energy cost of 1 or less. Well, guess what? Draw the Fruitful Earth is 1. So this means that at level 1, you can repeat this card and do it a lot. This means that you can vacuum into one land a bunch of explorers. Up to 4 explorers and 4 Dahan. This means that you're constantly bringing people in, and if you're drawing explorers in from other lands,
they don't build.
They don't build.
They don't build.
So that means
nothing ravages.
That means nothing ravages. And this also means that you have a ton of Dahan in a spot. Which is perfect for Rituals of Destruction, which gives you bonus damage and fear if you have at least 3 Dahan in a land. Rituals of Destruction originally just does 2 damage. It needs to go in a land that has Dahan in it. So if you go and copy Draw of the Fruitful Earth twice, you are going to be bringing explorers and Dahan into a land. Now Rituals of Destruction has a good land that must have Dahan in it in order for it to be targeted there. Now you can go there, and Rituals of Destruction, 2 damage. If target land has at least 3 Dahan, you do 5 damage instead, and 2 fear.
Woo!
So, with me constantly getting level 3 and 4 with Might, I was getting plus 2 damage with this power card. So this means that I was going and targeting a land that I wanted to really hit hard. I would vacuum Dahan and vacuum explorers in there. Then I would do 7 damage there, because Rituals of Destruction does 2 damage. Plus 3 if there's enough Dahan, which there was. And then Might, plus 1, plus 1. So that's +2 there. So 2 + 3 + 1 + 1 is 7, which is dope. And this is just with your starting hand, by the way.
I mean,
I was still getting power cards.
I mean, think of what you're saying. 7 damage from a starting hand. That's
right.
unheard of.
Which is insane.
That's not in the game.
And guess what?
Well, Thunder Speaker. Okay, fine.
But here's the thing. I can do this every single turn.
Oh.
Because this is a reclaim loop.
Yes.
Every single turn, I'm doing this.
And you're still growing in this reclaim loop.
And I'm still
growing.
I'm still growing here, and I'm getting power cards, which is insane. Now, of course, every now and then I would go ahead and do growth option 3 to get an energy spike. One thing that was funny, though, was with this character, with Might, and the whole, if you play an extra card, you have to spend 1 more energy to play that card. Ironically, I went and bankrupted myself every single turn. John is my witness.
Earth so poor.
Every single turn, I would gain energy, get a bunch of it, and then blow it all on my cards. But that's fine. Every now and then, they would blight on a spot, but then guard the healing land, bink, and reclaim. I got it back. So I could constantly be doing that one. Honestly, guys,
watching you play it, it was clinical.
It was really
surgical.
dope.
It was
really cool.
Perfection.
I had so much fun with this because one of the cards that I grabbed is one of the new ones from Jagged Earth, one of the new minors, called Sunset's Fire Flows Across the Land. It is a slow power for 1 energy, has range 1 of a sacred site, and it just says 1 fear, 1 damage. You may pay 1 energy to deal 1 damage in an adjacent land.
Wait.
What
if you have extra damage?
Well, guess what?
Oh.
This is to say that with Earth's new Might aspect, you can add +1 damage to either of those lands 2 times. So you can do 2 damage in both lands, or you can do 1 damage in one land and then 3 damage in another land.
It's Fire and Flood! It's Fire and Flood!
But only costing 1 money.
energy.
It only costing 1 money!
At that point, though, it would cost 3 energy instead of 1,
Still,
because the card's secondary effect adds 1 energy to the cost, and the Might aspect would do so as well if this power was the extra card play that you use that turn.
It's got a sun element, which you use.
So, usually this does 1 damage, and then 1 damage somewhere else. But now, with Might, this card now has the capability to destroy a town or a city, which is like, what? This means I can kill a city here, kill an explorer there, or kill a town here, kill a town there, and Tahan come in and 7 damage there. You can see now how just with this 1 card, 1 damage is now 3.
Yeah.
That means, I can kill explorers, so I can kill explorers, towns, or cities. My choice.
That's why Might is so good in my mind.
It's like, what? So, we talked about perfect cards for spirits in last episode, and here Sunset's Fire Flows Across the Land was one of the ones that I personally think was fantastic for Might Earth. I'm very glad that I found it, and it enabled me to just attack
too, wasn't it?
Crazy. It's slow.
Oh, oops.
It's okay, though, because 3 damage destroys cities.
Yeah.
And guess what happens in the slow phase?
Buildings
have showed up.
Yeah.
Buildings have shown up while you waited for the slow phase to happen. Now buildings are here. Pow! Boom. Immediately kill them. 2 fear from killing the city. So I've never been so offensive with this character. But like I said, my defense went down, but my healing stayed the same and my offense went up. So it's weird because I could kill the people that hurt me and then immediately heal it.
I mean, is Draw of the Fruitful Earth its own defense in a way when you're just stopping builds?
Right, because the best way to solve any problem in life is to prevent it. So that is exactly what this is. And you also still have Guard the Healing Land. So you can still defend stuff. It's defend 4, which means that you can stop 5 damage that's coming in, and you can remove a blight.
What I noticed too is because you were playing Might, you were able to get that extra card play.
Yep.
And then you triggered Gift of Strength.
Yep.
Much easier and quicker.
And reliably.
And reliably.
Oh
like you're
gosh.
saying, even if it's 1 energy, eventually you got up to 3 energy.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay for it to repeat it.
Oh.
It's incredible.
It was addicting and weird to play Earth of all characters with this amount of offense and card play. But I loved it. That made me so happy. It was such a different way to play this character.
It was destruction.
And I never did option 2. Growth option 2, never did it.
Okay.
Because gain a power card, add a presence at range 0. My innate gives me power cards, and growth option 1 lets me reclaim and get a presence 2 away, and growth option 3 lets me spike energy and place a presence 1 away.
Ooh.
So it's like, this was fun. Honestly, I do think that base Earth might still be just as good. It's just more of a defender. So if I was to give this character like a grade, like a school paper, like, what was your grade? Like an A. This character would still get a 95. But 95 defender, 95 counterattacking defender. It's 2 different roles, but the quality is just as good.
I think the funness might be higher.
I think the funness might be higher. Yeah, I agree.
If that's a word.
It's my favorite metric.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan was just going all over the place and blowing things up.
But doing that as Earth felt really weird, like that early. And then we were able to, like we said, get a terror level 1 victory.
That's just mind-blowing.
It's just
my
cool
gosh.
that Earth with might. You still have defense because you still have guard the healing land.
Dude, I'm still getting like that energy jazz. Like, we did it! Let's go!
With rituals of destruction, you have the power, and you still have fears. You have fear. You have control from. I mean, it's kind of becoming the perfectly balanced spirits with might.
Right. You
control,
have defense. You have
defense,
control,
offense.
Fear, defense, and skipping. Honestly, Might Earth is fantastic.
Yeah, it's just
Base Earth was fantastic, and honestly, guys, you can stay with Earth, whether base or Might, and probably take on a wide variety of bad guys. Adversaries, scenarios. I feel as if this character is ready to rock against anyone.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
I did pick up Cleansing Floods for River. That helped, too. Speaking of, like, perfect cards.
Sean's like, I was there.
No, it was just like, Ryan was talking about, like, the perfect cards. I picked up Cleansing Floods, and it's like 4 damage, remove a blight. Oh, cool. But if you have 4 water, plus 10 damage. Yeah. So it was just like, that helped out as well.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Might Earth was so much fun. Easily, of the ones I've done, easily my favorite.
Yeah, because, I mean,
That's not saying too much, though, because I haven't done a whole lot.
But you still have utility, though. Might Earth, I'm just talking myself into, like, what a perfect spirit it is. Mm-hmm. Because with Gift of Strength, you're helping someone else out. So you have offense, you have utility, you have defense, you have fear, you have control. Mm-hmm. You're hitting all the bars on the summary of powers. Mm-hmm. The Might Earth is just like, yep, I have that. Oh, yeah. Like, Finder is great at control. Nothing else.
Yep.
Bodan, great at fear. No offense. This spirit has everything.
Jack of all trades, baby.
It really is. And there is that mobility. Yes, you're not moving presence, but you can always, like Ryan was saying, be placing presence.
Right. And it was funny because I remember when we were playing, John, there were times when they were going to blight, and I was like, whatever. And you're like, dude, this is so weird. Are you okay? I'm like, that's fine. They have to kill me 12 more times. They're all gonna die before then.
And he destroyed them
all. I'm like, dude, they're gonna blight. I know, but I'm healing it immediately. They blight, healed. Oh, look, still back to a clear land.
Yep.
It was clear when the turn started. It's clear when the turn ended. Oh, but you lost a presence. Yeah, but they're going to get maybe 2 presents on me. I'm going to get like 3, 5, 7 cities on them.
I will say you've got more lax on like losing presence. Or you're more okay with it, I feel.
Well, I once told you a long time ago, it's excessive of both that matter. Blight is
long
time ago.
Probably like 4 months.
But no, we mentioned that in the podcast, which was before when we started the game, I had this mentality of, well, we don't want blight to happen. We don't want blight to show up, and you don't want to lose presence. My mentality is, I never want that to happen. Ever, never.
Bad. No.
Honestly, it's okay to lose a presence. It's okay to have blight show up. It's excessive amounts of either of those is when you have a problem. Yeah. You said that with Finder. You know what? It's okay if you lose a presence and an energy if you go destroy all bad guys, and oh no, you triggered.
Responsibilities of the dead.
Responsibilities to the dead. Oh no. Yeah, whatever. Like, okay. I just killed, what was it? Like 20 towns and cities. You generated 38 fear.
Cast Down Brian Deep was pretty good there.
But John, you lost a presence and an energy. Okay, yeah, I'll show you which one the real.
You know, there's like that typing where it's like the caps are different.
Yes.
What is that called? That's
I don't know. I see that.
It was a different kind of energy.
You lost an energy, John. Yeah, we won the game.
Yeah, we won the game. Like the give versus take there is so dramatically in the favor of the player.
Ryan, what about resilience?
I'll give it a try, I suppose, just to say I've done it. I mean, it does look interesting. I think if you go major power heavy and just completely skimp on the Dahan.
Laura,
and bringing it back to like what Tommy Boy said, if you were pairing it with the right pair, it makes for an interesting game. Yeah, it's not as crazy big and powerful and beautiful as Might, but it makes it interesting.
You're the only one here that's played Resilience. Give us the lore synopsis.
It was that Russia game you made me play against. What was that, difficulty bajillion?
Too many.
Yes.
That was our 2-day game. We had a game. It started in the evening, and they broke us. Those Soviets.
We ended up winning.
I will break you.
But it took a lot out of us.
They're explorers.
It destroys.
But don't stop coming.
They don't stop coming. So it was kind of nice.
Is that the game where you wanted to assemble the A team and you had Keeper Green?
We had Keeper Green, and I wanted to bring Earth because I like Earth.
And then you made me play him.
And
I don't want to play Earth.
I just want
you
Earth
guys
on the
are
team.
expecting to wallop the bad guys with this massive power punch. You're like, we're going to take on Russia at the high levels. We're going to smack them. And they were like, приятно тебя видеть.
Their explorers won't die and they do bonus damage. It was terrible.
So honestly, I have blocked most of that from my memory.
I do remember.
Recall,
we weren't
I know where
lots.
I was sitting in the dining room, and I
could
know
be
where Earth was because I remember looking at it. But the board is a fuzzy, just faint feeling of dread and of I hate you. Why are you doing
because
this?
the explorers do extra damage, it's easier to blight with them. So resilience did help us in that way. Where even with one explorer, you can
That's
blight.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So having them grouped up, and as long as, like we said, didn't get above 10 damage.
Dude, max level Russia just
I don't know
scares
what
me.
our strategy was there. I
You also
honestly
had
don't.
Lure, I remember.
We had Lure.
You did have Lure.
Lure does better with explorers.
Yeah,
it can ignore
can
them.
really help Russia.
As we talked about with your game.
Right, but the thing is when we played Russia with Lure, it was a low difficulty game. Russia was at a lower difficulty. So for us, Lure just came in and just smacked Russia.
Oh, we barely
And so it must have been pretty jarring for you to walk up and be like, hey, I have Lure. And they're like, and they just like still bring it. But you stuck it out and you still beat them.
It took 2 days. It was...
But I and Resilience Earth was able to help with that.
Well, we still blighted.
Let's get one thing straight. Very clear. We still blighted
out. It was just 3 hours later than we might have if we didn't have him.
Yeah.
Oh, yikes.
I definitely think Might or maybe OG Earth would have been better.
You know, that sounds like one of those games where you win, but when the game is over, it doesn't feel like a win.
It did not feel like a win.
At the end, it was like, what have we really lost here?
So much
energy.
Rampant Green's like, I'm barely a shrub. Because we just kept destroying sacred sites. We're like, well, we don't want them to build or ravage.
We had to stick Rampant Green in a little pot afterwards and hope they started dancing.
Just keep watering
It
it.
just reminds me of Star Trek. Were you able to beat him? Yes. At great cost.
It was a great cost of sanity.
Yikes.
We had like one event where it's like each player gets an additional fear per player. So it was like 5 fear a player now. So we're just like, just end it.
Just stick a fork in me.
It was one of those times where you're just like, can we just like hurry up and go so we can lose this game already? Oh, I think we won. Ow.
Rush the fear
I don't know, just put it away quick.
Yeah. Paralyzing fright.
Just battered and bruised, bloodied and broken.
But, I mean, Earth is just a very good character, is what I saw from that. Even with resilience.
Wait.
I think core.
So now...
See, I just have a fuzzy memory. I know I like resilience. I can't tell you why. But I know I like him, and I think it's because of that victory over Russia, which, again, everything's very fuzzy.
Not having to worry about blight is just nice.
No, seriously, it really, truly, actually is nice.
So, yes, we didn't have many Dahan left.
No,
there was a lot of spirits left either.
There wasn't much left.
There was a lot of blight though.
One spirit's just like over in the corner shaking.
Well,
I know.
Quick question: like, do tier level victories feel like victories because there's so much plastic on the board? So it's just like tier level 4.
I know it's weird to win when
when
the board is so busy.
Like, I don't feel like because you said like, did it feel like a win? It really didn't.
No,
there was like so many buildings, so many explorers, and it was like, I guess. Anyway, Resilience Earth.
Hey.
So now I just want to take a moment and look back at this whole aspect series, this whole community aspect thing. But I kind of want to look at all the numbers.
Oh, okay.
Combining both Reddit and Board Game Geek.
Cool.
So, with the combined stats of both Board Game Geek and Facebook and Reddit, when it comes to Lightning's aspects, Wind got 23% of the vote, Pandemonium got 19%, and Immense got 56% of the vote. My personal favorite is Wind. How about you guys?
Same.
Don't play it, don't care.
I think I missed the boat on Immense. I'm going to need to try that one.
Yeah.
Immense really did sound pretty cool.
Yeah. I'll try it, but I still think that I'm going to prefer Wind. So, Immense with a 56% win there. River Travel had 67% of the vote.
Taxi!
And Sunshine only had 32% of the vote. My personal favorite, Travel. Unanimous vote
Pack
here
your
from
bags,
the...
Dahan. We're going places.
Unanimous vote from Team KSP. All right, Shadows. Reach had 14% of the vote. Amorphous had 23% of the vote.
Mm-hmm.
Madness had 19%. And Foreboding took it with 43%. My personal pick, Amorphous.
I like Foreboding.
I think the general idea was anything makes it better, so...
That's a good point.
There you go. Yep. And last but not least, Vital Strength of the Earth with our biggest margin of victory. Resilience with 20% of the vote. Might with 80.
80.
Whoa. My personal pick, Might.
Yeah. You're not fighting me on that one.
I still like the other one for reasons unknown.
So there you go. There are the combined stats combining all of the websites together.
This was fun to do.
This was really fun.
Really cool.
I've really enjoyed getting to be more integrated with the community with you guys, getting your feedback, getting your numbers, quantifiable data that we can look at and examine, and to see your literal written word and comments about it. Get
your
voice vocalized on here, and getting just to meet new people and getting to see them and getting to just be involved with the crew. It was just really cool.
Only 5 seconds or we get copyrighted.
So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I really want to do this kind of thing in the future, and I want to keep doing these kinds of things. So I hope that over the course of these past 4 episodes, you've been excited for these community episodes, and hopefully if you heard these and maybe you missed the boat on when we sent out all the questionnaires and surveys and whatnot, that maybe you can feel excited for the time that we do it in the future, because don't fret, I tototally want to do this more often in the future.
Yeah.
Do you guys want us to do more of this kind of thing? Because
I
had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love hearing their
so
opinions.
neat.
Yeah.
Because we get used to our own opinions or like hearing just the 3 of us.
In a bubble.
Yeah,
Right.
bringing in the other people, so cool.
Right. And hey, I mean, if you have a funny joke and you're good at writing like Mr. Wolf is, you can get your hilarity publicized to the world!
Hey! Also, if you make a spelling error, we might comment on that too.
Or if you have
Well,
a
you are a
funny
teacher.
username, we like to comment on that too.
Yes.
So now the sunset nears the horizon on our community-driven aspect series, but fret not, for there are always fun things to describe and discuss about Spirit Island here at the KSP. So, until our next episode, this has been such a fun time, and we will catch you guys later. Ryan, signing off!
I'm John. I'm leaving too.
Laura, on a flippity flip.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Kindred Spirit Podcast. We appreciate you taking the time to do so. Feel free to visit us on our Instagram and Facebook page. You can find me on our Facebook page at the Kindred Spirit Podcast. To get a hold of John, check out our Instagram page at the KSP123. We look forward to hearing from you and seeing you in future episodes.